If there's an idea for a story that's been on your mind for some time now, please, just write it. It's not gonna just magically write itself one day, but it may begin to feel as if it's writing itself after you first act towards it. You have everything you need. If the idea came to you, you are the chosen one.
So basically, I have not touched this script in the past 2 months, about 2 months. I've been collecting ideas for the story and writing down a bunch of things, but I actually haven't done any screenwriting in like 2 months. Where I left off 2 months ago was getting 60 pages into my third draft. And so what I'm doing right now is, instead of continuing that draft, which I will eventually, but I'm just going back at the beginning, reading through it and making changes according to all of the new ideas that I've been conceptualizing the past 2 months. Also, this is a really cool moving branch. I don't know what's going on, but it's really cool. So today I wrote for about an hour and I went through the first 10 pages of the draft, just made my changes accordingly. And I felt really great about the writing. My enjoyment, the joy that I get from writing, is an indicator of how good it is. That's what I've accepted is the truth of my creative process, because that joy shows that my creative spirit is at work. It's having fun. It's playtime. And the reason that I'm returning to this script after 2 months is because I'm done being afraid. Or rather, I'm done letting fear stop me. Because courage is not feeling fear. Courage is feeling fear and moving forward despite it. I just realized, am I killing this branch? Sorry, branch. I'm at a point in my process with this script where I know I just need to write and get back to forcing out the pages, but doing it in a manner that feels right and where the writing actually feels like it's coming from a true place and I'm not just mindlessly writing like I kind of did for the first couple drafts. Mostly that was just to get the drafts out there, but this draft I really want to force out the pages more mindfully, more consciously, more aligned with the truth that started this story in the first place. Which, by the way, if you don't know what the story of the script is about already, it follows this character, Ben, who is a year post-graduation. He was an engineer major, but he's very unfulfilled with his work. He doesn't like engineering. He wants to do something else, but he's also too afraid to move off the safe route, the safe path. And he basically gets fired from his job. Both him and his roommate get fired from their jobs on the same day. And then they talk about kind of existentially what they're doing with their lives, what they want to do. And then a series of serendipitous events happens in Ben's life that kind of leads into on this odyssey of friendship and creativity and magic. And Ben starts to realize that there's something much more greater and cosmic happening in his life. There's a greater force at play that's guiding him. Also, there's a spaceship that the friends build. And the name of the script is Cosmos. And there's a squirrel over there, or a chipmunk. So yeah, that's what the story's about. And it's not gonna get done unless I actually write the pages. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm just writing the pages so that I can actually film it. This is Rebel Without a Crew, and it's a book written by filmmaker Robert Rodriguez, and it's essentially a bunch of journal/diary entries that he made during the filming of his first ever movie, El Mariachi. And this book has played a huge role in the forming of my whole philosophy, approaching the making of this movie, of this script that I'm writing. And it's made me really think deeply and reflect on making movies in general. The past year I've been reflecting on this idea, ever since graduating film school, really. Because I think when I was in college, I really worshipped and put this idea of winning awards on a pedestal, or becoming successful according to industry standards. But I think that a system stays in power as long as enough of the collective are willing to support it. And I don't think the current system right now, the current industry in movie making, it doesn't feel like a system that prioritizes what's actually important and what actually matters And I think that industry is reflective of a lot of other industries and systems within our society that don't necessarily function for our highest good, where the number one priority is something very transactional, profit, commerce. When things are just geared towards making money, you sacrifice other elements and other factors. And it doesn't mean that our current industry and system has not produced incredible works and incredible things and just incredible experiences. Obviously, all my favorite movies are made within an industry. Most of them are, at least. But change is the only constant. Change is an important thing, which is why I think it's important for us artists, us filmmakers, or artists just in general, to question and think about our paths and what we actually want, and ultimately what we're standing for, the systems that we are supporting, the ways of being within our own industries that we're ultimately, enough of us are supporting it. That's the only reason why it's functioning and still continuing. Now, Robert Rodriguez is an industry filmmaker or an industry director at this point, in terms of just the productions he's led. But his beginnings, this first feature film that he made, there's a lot of wisdom in this story, in this documentation of his journey, where he did produce it really the non-traditional route, sort of producing and making a film with a guerrilla filmmaking, indie filmmaking kind of style in regards to just his production. Him writing, directing, DPing, editing his film, using resources that he had around him, using non-actors. But basically all of this thinking has just, again, it's just formed my own approach to making this movie. I just want to make it with friends. In terms of spending money, the main thing that I think about is just feeding my crew on sets. That's honestly the thing I think. I don't even think about locations or props. I'll go to garage sales, I'll get things for free on the marketplace, I'll talk to people that I know, I'll ask for props around locally, just use resources around me and trust the things that come to my path. And this is all just kind of influencing me to just have fun with writing the script, just write what's fun, try to write something that's exciting, that's deep, that's personal to me, and really not get too caught up and overwhelmed with a bunch of steps that I might need to take to make the film. Obviously, all these things are going to come together as I make it and as I go into pre-production and filming, but I just want to make it happen. I just want to film it. I just want to do it. And I think however we value certain expected practices and expected preparations for making a movie, whether it's, again, like getting a producer or getting it into film festivals or any other steps that you should take, that the world tells you should take, don't let the lack of those things stop you from actually making it. So if you don't get a producer, still find a way to make it. If you don't have your ideal budget, still find a way to make it. If you don't get into a film festival, still distribute it if you want to. The point is to take a lot of these things off the pedestal and just be creative, because we are artists. Be creative and find a way and make it happen. So what I'm doing right now is I'm copying over notes for the story and the script that I've taken, handwritten-wise, into my notebook, and I'm transferring them to my digital document, which has everything that I've been collecting over the past year. And I essentially do this because when I get an idea, I like to put it on paper, handwritten. It feels nicer just writing it down. There's a much more of a raw, human, personal connection to the idea as it's manifesting physically on paper versus typing it. But then I transfer it over to the digital doc so that I can kind of see everything with an easy scroll, as opposed to having to flip through all the pages to see the ideas organized. And I was having this thought the other day on my walk that I just need one focused hour every day, just one focused hour of writing the script and or thinking about it. Even this right now, transferring over things to the doc helps me spark new ideas. And I spent an hour doing this, and that's nice. That's just an hour totally dedicated and focused to the script, to the story. And I want to share something that I wrote down in here a few weeks ago that I just copied over, which is a quote from Baron, who's a screenwriter, and he's an artist online. He made this movie, or he wrote and directed this film called Two Sleepy People, which is produced by Camp Studios, which is this awesome and emerging group of artists, online creators, who are trying to bring internet cinema to the big screen, to theaters. And their whole mission has also kind of co-created my own philosophy towards art and movies about, again, just the non-traditional, the indie route of making art. And again, the pedestals that we place these industries on. But here's the quote: "If there's all these ideas, but your mind keeps coming back to one, that's a good thing." And this is something that I've thought about a lot while writing the script, is noticing which ideas kind of stick around for a while and which ideas still feel strong after weeks and months of kind of refining the script and transforming it and changing it. It's almost like your windshield is all wet with rain droplets and you have your windshield wipers on and there's this one drop that just somehow stays. No matter how many times you try to wipe your windshield, there's one drop that just stays throughout all of it. That's like an idea that's super strong, that no matter what happens throughout time, it sticks with you. And that's an indicator that it's probably a really important part for the script. One thing I forgot to mention about this book, the whole idea, again, the philosophy of like the indie art way to make a movie, is that when I was in film school, so much of making our short films, me and the other students there, was such a, just like a raw, like unorganized way of making movies in like the best way possible. Unorganized according, or at least compared to, you know, how movies are made in the industry. And there's something about that raw, gritty way of making movies that I don't want to lose. I really don't want to lose that. There's something so fun about it, so improvised, so magical. The magic comes in the unexpected. You're just hanging out with friends. You're just hanging out and making a movie in a fun way. It's not something super serious and professional. That kind of culture of making movies, I want to bring that into my making of this feature film. I don't want to be more mature and professional. I want to stay childlike. I want to stay innocent and fun. I'm just about done transferring all of my handwritten notes over to the Google Doc. It took about a week, and I've just felt like a, what's it called, Mom? Transcriber? Transcriber, like a courtroom or something like that, just documenting things and words. But it's also nice because now that I've had a lot of space from these ideas that I've written over the past couple months, as I write them into the Google Doc, I get new ideas as I write them down. Reminds me of something Tarantino says, how he feels like he's just typing what the characters are saying. He's not even writing it. He's just typing. He's just letting the characters talk for themselves.
Oh, stenographer.
Oh, stenographer. What is that, oh, stenographer? I've never heard that word. Oh, okay, oh, stenographer. I've been an oh, stenographer in the courtroom of all of my characters. Sto-stenographer?
Stenographer.
Oh, stenographer.
No, ST.
Estionographer. Estionographer.
No.
Sto-stenographer. Pick up. Pick up. Benny's been my little ostenographer. Right, Benny? I think Benny just wants to look out the window and bark at everyone. So yep, just transferring notes. I was at the library the other day doing the same. This is my notebook that I've been writing in the past few months for any ideas that come to me for the story, as well as these other different notebooks that if I just have it around me, then I'll write in it. And the other day, yesterday, I had an incredible breakthrough that I want to tell you guys about, where I've been kind of clueless on this one area in my script, because my protagonist gets fired during the first act from this job that he's been working for like a year after college. And then he gets hired into a new job, which becomes kind of the main plot of the story. And I was trying to figure out for so long, like, what is this job that he gets fired from? What is it? What has he been doing the past year? And I figured out, oh, it's the same company that rehires him, but it's in a different position. And that way I can actually incorporate more of his backstory and history the past year into this new story. And it also makes so much sense according to all the other ideas that I've been cooking up the past year. The best analogy I can make for this feeling is like there's a missing puzzle piece right in the center. All the other pieces around it make sense for the one puzzle piece that's going to go there, but you don't know what it is. It's that one piece, but when you finally get it, then it's like, oh, you put it in place and all the other pieces make sense around it. And that's what it is. And even like, it's kind of been irking me, the fact that I couldn't connect this the past few months, but I knew deep down that the piece will come when it's meant to. And then it arrived, and it's just incredible. It's amazing. And now I'm excited to go into this third draft to write with this new idea, and it'll really tie things together. And this morning when I was waking up, I heard a clear line of dialogue from one of the characters in the first act, which, you know, the creative ideas I think that you get in the morning are really precious and valuable. And you want to write them down before you forget them, and especially manifest those ideas before you get the noise in your head throughout the day from other things, other distractions, or other sources of stimulation. So again, I I have like 1 or 2 more pages in this notebook to go through in terms of transferring over the ideas to the doc, but after that, it's all screenwriting from there. And there's one idea that I wanted to share that I was transferring over. So basically this whole screenplay has felt like a canvas that I'm painting on, and what I'm painting is the world that I see in my life. And on that artistic note, it's very easy to just be able to look at things around me in my own life, things people say, things that I notice, experiences that I'm going through, and just directly put them into my script. And there's something I transferred over, a quote from Wong Kar-wai about the movie Chungking Express. He says, "I want to make a film about where I live and where I grew up and what is very close to me." And I resonate with this a lot because for this screenplay, I've imagined how I want to film it, where I want to film it, and it's all things that I just already know that are local to me because those things are personal. Those are the things that I know the best. Ricky Gervais says, write what you know. Write what you know because those things in your life are meant to be there for a reason. You're meant to alchemize them, to transform them into beautiful art. And I was reading On Writing by Stephen King last night, and he said, good writing, good dialogue comes from looking at the world around you and being honest. So looking at your life and just be honest through your writing. Be honest about what you see. Put that into your art. All right. Cosmos. One of the best openings to a Radiohead album. All right, so it's been a few weeks since I last made an entry for this vlog. So I want to make my last entry, wrap up this one, because I was thinking I really want to make more vlogs and documentations of this process writing the script. Specifically because I was looking at Rebel Without a Crew and I was realizing that Robert Rodriguez made so many different journal entries for the process of making this film. And I was like, oh, I really think my vlogs can be like diary entries, more like diary entries rather than formal YouTube videos, meaning I want to be more consistent and just do more volume. So anyway, I'll recap. Again, it's been a few weeks since the last time I documented, and during that time, quite a bit has happened. A lot of writing, a lot of returning to the script, a lot of tuning up the scenes, rewriting lines. Whenever I return to the script, I have somewhat of a different perspective and feeling. Or not necessarily different, but just more like in tune with the story. Like I'm getting deeper and deeper with the characters and the feeling and the vibe. And I'm just changing lines, like chipping away at a statue, getting rid of the parts that aren't the sculpture that I want. One of the biggest changes that's happened in the past few weeks is that I think I want this to be a TV show. Because I was actually in the gym when I was thinking about this. You know, when I'm in the gym, I'm very connected with my body, very connected with my spirit. Thoughts feel a lot more vivid and strong. I feel like the important thoughts come to from the subconscious come to the conscious because I'm just so in tune with myself and I'm very much in the here and now. And I was just thinking about Cosmos, the screenplay, and thinking about how long it is and how I have to cut down on a lot of scenes if I want this to really work as a movie. And I was like, I don't really want to cut down. I know there's a whole thing of kill your darlings, but I love all of my scenes so much, and I love all the ideas that have come with it. And again, I mentioned this before, but like especially in the first act of the film, the first act is already over an hour long, and I would have to cut that down by probably like half if I wanted to fit in all the other stuff that I have in mind. But I was thinking, in my head when I was in the gym, I was like, what if this was a show? And I actually saw, during that time, my mom was rewatching Breaking Bad, and I was watching it with her kind of, and I was noticing the art of television and how it's a different medium than movies because you have a different type of structure to the whole story. You kind of got like your cliffhangers. You just got a different evolution in the story. If episodes are like 10 minutes versus 30 minutes versus an hour, like Severance. And so the art of television writing was on my mind. And mixing it in with this screenplay, I was like, oh, I can see where the first episode of Cosmos would end. It would end at this scene. And then it would pick up here, and then the second episode would end here. And whether or not it stays like that, I have it in my mind where episodes can start and end already, based on the scenes I have so far. So right now, again, I haven't made like final technical decision, but at least at the moment, what I'm telling myself is that it's a show, and I'm not gonna hold back with the scenes of the story. Because even when I would screenwrite, I would try to make lines even smaller and make things more tighter and cut back on dialogue. I don't wanna do that, I don't wanna limit myself. And the idea of it being a show just feels more fun. It feels more ambitious, it honestly feels harder, but it feels more fun. It feels more right. So that's gonna be my attitude going forward. That has been my attitude the past few weeks. I also watched Network, which is a movie that is long overdue at the library at this point. I still have to finish it. I'm only halfway through. I don't even know if I should finish it. I should probably just return it at this point. I don't know how much the fee is at the library. But when I was watching it, there were so many similarities between that movie and my script. And this happened a lot with movies that I feel called to watch that I'm like, oh, this would inspire Cosmos. There's so many similarities between characters and dialogue and tone and even specific things that happen in Network and other movies that I've seen. So many similarities that reinforce the story that I'm already writing for Cosmos. Meaning, it's just telling me to trust what I have. It's just like a mirror to my story. Like, oh yeah, this is in this movie, and it's exactly how you have it in your movie already. Before you even saw it, it was in this movie. So just trust the ideas you have. You don't need this validation. Just trust the ideas you have. Trust the story that you have. It's just reminders that I'm on the right path. That's ultimately what it is. Then I watched Studio by Seth Rogen, which was the funniest show. I think it's up to par with The Office for me. That astounded me. That floored me. Inspirational in so many ways. The story has to do with the film industry, film studios. It gave me totally new ideas on where I can take the Cosmos script, because in Cosmos, there's a character, Amanda. She's a filmmaker, an indie kind of filmmaker who goes to film school, the same college that the main character, Ben, went to. And I was just thinking about different extreme directions I can take the story about her as a filmmaker and her own journey with the movie that she's making within Cosmos. And all these different ideas and revelations were hitting me as I was watching the studio. So that was an incredible viewing experience. Just super conscious of all of the movies and shows in the world, trickling into my own thing that I'm writing. I've also just been meditating a lot on my own mission as a filmmaker and how I want to approach making Cosmos. Because I mentioned this at the beginning of this vlog. I really want to go indie art style. I really believe there's a new industry brewing, a new industry that prioritizes art and truth and actual connection and inner vision over profit and industry and algorithms. The only way that's going to happen is if we make it happen as artists. That's what I want to stand for. I want to play it to my advantage that I don't have all the resources and advantages that big film studios would have at their disposal. I saw the beautiful films that I was able to make in college with friends and just props and locations that were free and at our disposal when we just got creative and thought about how can we make this story work. I want to channel that same thing into the making of this. Don't leave me dry. This is an entry Rodriguez wrote when he met with a fellow cartoonist during the making, or the post-production of the film. He writes, I went to his house today and was very impressed when I saw the equipment he had, or rather, the lack of equipment. I told him he was perfect for this movie because the way he milks his equipment to make music is exactly how he milked the limited equipment and resources to make mariachi. And this is, again, a recurrent theme throughout this whole book, is playing into the resources you have, not focusing on resources, but focus on being resourceful and trust in your ability to make the story happen without having everything that you think you need. That will make all the difference. And I really think this would be one of the major principles of an indie art revolution movement industry that would brew in today's generation. It would be a principle of not pedestalizing a huge film budget in order to get all the resources that you think you absolutely need in order to make your dream film. Stick water in can. And final note before I end this vlog, I'll share a little story that happened about a month or two ago. Camera died, new battery. As I was saying, I was writing the third draft and I was in this crucial point of not knowing whether I should be writing or whether I should be taking space. Because I was just feeling iffy on the script. I didn't feel inspired. I was so clouded on what I should do because I wanted to take space. I didn't feel like writing, but also I didn't want to be, not lazy, but I was like, I want to stay productive on the script. It was a moment of just not knowing what to do. So then one morning I couldn't handle it because it had been a few days or weeks without writing, unintentional non-writing. I was like, I just need to do something. You know what? I'm just going to write. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to force myself to write. I'm just going to decide. So then I sat down, I forced myself to write a few pages, and it was dreadful. It was, every word that I typed felt like a chore, it felt like heavy lifting, but in like a bad way, and like an uninspired, I didn't like the dialogue at all that I was writing. And after writing that, after spending an hour or two doing that, I was like, yep, it's time to take space. So I did that. I took space for a few weeks. I just meditated on the ideas, did other kinds of work, experienced life. And when I came back to writing, it felt like other previous times where it would just feel great. And it was actually the best type of writing that I had. She looks like the real thing. No! Oh, okay. Accidentally restarted the song. Accidentally. Reflecting on that, I was in this limbo state of not knowing what to do, but then because I just decided on one thing, then I knew what I should be doing. I guess what it taught me is that when you don't know what to do, just decide anything. That's it for this vlog. I will see you guys the next vlog of Cosmos. As always, God bless, dream on, peace out.